Jake Yancey, Track and Y Ranch. Hey, thanks for joining us today. We're going to do a comparison and kind of show you some pros and cons of some different common step-in posts. So before we do that though, we're going to go and shut off our fence. So I don't want to get shocked today. We're going to be shutting off. This is Turbo Braid. This is the product that we've been using here recently. So first thing I'm going to use is my Gallagher fault finder. And there we go. I'm at 3.8, so 3,800 kilovolts are going through here. This is a Gallagher, this is our geared reel. This is what we're using as our standard. Things I like about it is a really good handle that's on it. It's got a clip, that's a locking clip that locks it onto the fence. So it makes it really a positive contact. So you can kind of see that. The main thing that I really like about this is good shielding on it, and it's got a power lug here. So for our alligator clamps that supply our power on this end of the fence, that's what we've decided to use today. We can hook right onto there. It's long wearing. A lot of folks will end up clipping their alligator clamps directly to their wire, but after time it creates a wear spot. So we got our alligator clamp off. Our fence should be off. We'll put our fault finder on here one more time, and we're reading no power in the fence. So we're going to come down here. This blue wire that you see, this is Gallagher's Turbo Braid. We really like this product. It's super strong, super conductive. It's got a little bit more girth to it. It's got a blue and white color, unlike the standard products that have the orange. So it's really easy for us to see and real visible for our animals. The main thing is we really like how strong it is, and it's smooth to run your hands. This is after we've used it now for a couple years in our herd. So these are 5 step-in posts we brought here today for you. We got down here on the end is a Dare step-in post. This is what I see at some of the small local feed stores. This is an Obrien step-in post. I heard lots of good reviews about it, so really wanted to get one in and show it and show you kind of the pros and cons. This is kind of your run-of-the-mill pigtail. You can notice the classical pigtail shape. A Gallagher pigtail, I'm going to show you the difference between those. And this is Gallagher's ringtop design. You'll notice that it's got a different than the pigtail, but similar. And it's got some pros as well. So first thing I want to do is we'll pull all these out of the ground, and I'll show you the working end. So first one is I kind of juggle them around for you. So we're going to show you the first one. This is the Dare brand. You'll notice that the pipe nail, the metal nail on this, ends right at the footstep. It's also got a small footstep design on it. It has a very large nail that goes in the ground, and it's pointed on the very top. It comes that way from the factory. Our second one that we have, this is our Obrien. You'll notice it has a very nice foot peg on here. It has a much thinner stake nail that goes in the ground, and it has a secondary anti-rotation plastic lug that prevents it from rotating in the ground. The main thing is you compare these two side by side, you'll see there's a significant difference in width from the Dare to the Obrien. We'll show you how that kind of works when you put them in the ground. So for the next one, we're going to look at, it's going to be our run-of-the-mill pigtail. And you'll note on this run-of-the-mill pigtail, the purchase, the secondary leg that prevents it from rotating, is quite thick. It's only semi-pointed, and all of these come unpointed except for the Dare. So you can grind them as a pro tip, but it does not come. You'll see that the thickness is thinner than the Dare. And for our next one, we're going to show you the Gallagher pigtail. Big thing with the Gallagher is it has a thicker wire post rod here. It comes with a much sharper secondary leg to prevent the rotation, and a substantial foot purchase is on here for you. Main thing is you can compare that to the Dare. Let's just show you compared to the run-of-the-mill. So you can see the Gallagher being on your guys' left is going to be thicker than the generic, and it's going to be a little bit thinner than the Dare. So it's going to have a little bit longer shelf life for you on your operations. This is the ringtop design. This is their new one. It's going to have the same thickness as the main shaft. Comes unsharpened. Has a really nice foot purchase on here. And then has a secondary lug that's about the same size to go into the ground. So it's going to be similar as you end up putting pressure into the soil for you. You'll notice on the thickness as we compare it to the Dare that it's going to be a little bit thinner than that. And that's going to make a difference as we end up putting it in the ground today. So on each of these, they kind of have their pros and their cons. Let's stick them in the ground for right now, and we'll kind of walk you guys through that. So the Dare brand that they have is kind of nice in the sense that it accepts the tape that goes in it. It's all plastic design, so if you're holding onto the post anywhere and you hit your wire, you're not going to get zapped. Like I said, the main nail that you push in the ground ends right at the foot peg, so it does not go up the end of the shaft. And that does make this whole thing pretty flexible. Big downfall that I don't end up liking with these is how the wire goes in. So you're going to see is we take our turbo braid right here and we push it down. It has to go over this little purchase right here. The problem is it's not easy to get on and off. You end up having to flex it to get it on. And every time that it snaps in, you can hear that little pop. To me, every time I hear a little pop or a grind or anything else, I think about wear. So every time we make a purchase, we want it to last for years and years and years. The other downfall is once these snap off, they snap off and you're looking at another post. So something to keep in mind. So the Obrien, nice things with the Obrien is it accepts both the tape and wire, and the wire can go through that small little slot there that you see that's round, and it also can go through their hook design. Big perks with this hook design, if I can do it right, is all you do is put it in and twist. So as you're going down the fence, it's really easy. You can just grab hold of your wire, you put it in, and you twist. Once the wire's in, it goes up and down. It's not going to go anywhere. It's got a good positive contact. And you'll note as it slips in, there's no wear point. So there's no click in, nothing that's going to wear. Now on the flip side, on the tape side, it does have a wear point as it ends up snapping past here. But it's much easier to pull in and out than we were doing earlier with the Dare model. The metal rod, the nail in it, goes just past the foot purchase, which gives it a little bit more strength. The whole thing is plastic so that you don't get electrified while grabbing hold or putting it in the ground. Downfalls with it is these are all set, you can't move them, and once they break, they're broke. So you're going to lose that purchase point for your fence. So we're going to use the run-of-the-mill pigtail. It's got a classic pigtail design that you can recognize on it. On all of ours, you'll notice we put a secondary wire insulator that's adjustable. The reason why we do that is early in our season, we normally train our cattle with 2 sets of wire in the deep grass, and that really seems to help, especially with the young calves getting through. So pigtails are real nice in the sense that it's a wire that goes down the whole entire thing, so if it ever bends, you can straighten it right back out. It has long service life. The run-of-the-mill, you can see this one's red, for instance. One of the downfalls that we don't like about this is there's no insulated cap on the end of this tube. So if you're in one of those unlucky days and you decide to grab hold of your post to yank him out of the ground and you touch your wire, you will get a little bit of a shock, maybe a little more than you want. So just something to keep in mind. Pigtails are real nice as you slide them on the fence and you twist them, they lock in, and it makes a nice positive contact. The wire's not going out, and you're going to see that there's no wear point as you end up going in and out. There's no popping, snapping, or anything else. Just the same, this height is singular, that once you have, once there's the one on the ring top, that's all that you end up getting. So something to keep in mind. This is the Gallagher ring top. Same design on the class, or the pigtail, sorry. Same design on the pigtail, sticks out a little bit farther. Main things like we talked about is that it's got the insulated cap on the end, so you're not going to get yourself shocked, not going to surprise yourself or your spouse or your kids or anybody else. Much more solid rod, so it's a little more stiff. These have lasted us a long time. I think these are 10 plus years old that we've been running them. And once again, like we said, what we ended up finding is we put a secondary insulator on it. So this is our meat and potatoes. This is what in our operation that we're going to. And this is a ring top design. One of the perks with the ring top in comparison to the pigtails is when you have these pigtails all tossed in a pile or tossed in your truck or anything else, and you go to grab them out, they have a tendency to hook into one another. And if they're hooked in really well and you're trying to grab one, they're all stuck together. Gallagher's kind of helped to solve that problem and answer a lot of us production guys' concerns by making a much tighter design. So this ring top design, it doesn't hook on as easy. It's a lot easier. Obviously, if you have it in a set of pigtails, she'll still lock in. But if it's all ring tops, they don't hook into one another. It works really, really good. And it makes it much more resistive to getting hung up in your truck or your box or whatever you're packing these things around in. Just like the ring tops or the pigtails, really easy design. It slips right on. You give it a half twist and you're in. Once you're in, your fence is hooked in, nice and stable. They do sell a classic ring top that only has one. This is the multi, and this is why we've been going to these, and I'll show you. This is a ring top design. You'll notice that it comes standard when you buy the packs. It's going to come with 3 adjustable hooks on here. The nice thing with them is you can snap them off, and you can move them to one of the 6 locations. They're up and down the post. So once they go on, they're not coming off super easy, but you can snap them on and off. We have not lost one in the years that we've been running these. On the second wire that's on here, you're going to do just like you did on the Obrien. You're going to put it in and give a half a twist. Once it's in, you can lift up and down, you can do whatever. And just like the Obrien post, all you need to do is turn it and it pops out. There's no hooking, there's no popping, there's nothing that's going to wear on your wire, giving you that long life and preserving that for you. The nice things that we like about this is the ring top design is really easy and quick to put on your fences. The adjustable hooks that they have on here are non-wearing. There's no snapping as they go in. And the big thing is that if one of these ever breaks or anything else, we can just move one of these. You can also buy these directly as replacement parts as well if you ever have that problem. Like we said, we've been running these for a couple of years. Never had any sort of issue. Nice thing with the Gallagher is that secondary lug is metal and goes in all the way. We'll kind of show you as each of these go in, and I'll kind of explain what I'm kind of feeling. So this is that Dare model. We're just going in normal ground. This is a mowed section along the outside of our pasture. And as you push down, it is a good amount of pressure to get that in the ground. Nothing impossible, but it's definitely a little more. The Obrien model that you see here, remember it has a much smaller metal shaft that's going to go in, and it steps in nice and easy. You can feel when that secondary lug ends up going in the ground. There's a little bit of pressure. The generic pigtail, about the same size metal shaft as the Obrien. So we're going to see that it goes nice and easy into the ground. But then once we hit that secondary lug, it wasn't sharpened like we said. It takes a little more to shove it in the ground for pressure. With the Gallagher pigtail, we're looking at a little bit thicker shaft, and we're looking at that pointed secondary peg. So we're going to see it goes in, and actually the secondary peg goes right into the ground. Makes it a lot nicer when it comes sharpened like that. And for the ring top design, the multi-wire that we're really liking, same thickness on the shaft as the other Gallagher, and it goes in nice and steady. All the way down, because it's got that secondary shaft, is the same exact. The nice thing with these secondary lugs is they prevent your posts from twisting. Really doesn't matter how hard you end up torquing on them, they will stay in the ground, which makes it nice. You'll notice with the fiberglass posts though, they do turn a little bit. This is even the Obrien. But you'll notice on the Dare one that doesn't have any, we literally can sit here and we can spin this thing around. So if you're having hardware and cattle or anything else, be aware a secondary lug makes it really nice for it. Ultimately, I hope this has answered some of your questions and concerns here today. As you can see from our video and from our experience, we're going to these ring top designs. The ability of them not to hang up on one another when they're tossed in a pile in the truck is huge for us. They have the same easy design to snap on and off the wire. And we're just loving that there's a multi-wire adjustments that are on here. Like we said, the bigger, thicker size of the Gallagher Stepins has really gave us a little bit more life and saved us money in the long term when we're not replacing and breaking stuff. I hope this video has helped you here today. Ultimately, I hope you can grow some great grass and some great grass-fed beef.